Alright, YouTube. It's a beautiful day here today. And I'm gonna head up to the lakes. Yeah, I'm gonna head up to the lakes on the Bolt here. And while I cruise up to the lakes, I think I'm gonna go over the very controversial Yamaha Bolt vs. Iron 883. So, to begin this, I'm actually gonna talk about how I ended up with the Bolt or how I really ended up owning a motorcycle, period. And then I'll go over at the very end of the video my 3 likes, my 3 dislikes about each bike. So it all started when I was 16 years old. When I was 16, I discovered, and I'm gonna admit to this, that's cool. Yeah, when I was 16, my first love was, it's kind of gross to say this out of my mouth, but it was the Ninja 250. Kawasaki Ninja 250. So, anyways, I fell in love with this bike. I wanted it in either green or red. And I was 16 years old. I was sophomore in high school, and yeah, right, my mom's gonna let me do that. I'm still living with my parents, and my girlfriend at the time didn't want me to get one. Nobody was with me on this decision. And then there was the whole factor of coming up with $5,000 to $6,000 when you're only getting paid like $7.25 an hour part-time. So this wasn't happening. So that summer, my cousin, which we're only 1 month apart, I'm 1 month older than he is, he got himself, what do you know, a Ninja 250. And I was so jealous of this. I was like, damn, this dude. He even gave me a ride on it. Like, all I want is an effing motorcycle. The story kind of cranks back up when I'm 19 years old. So I'm 19, I live on my own, and I live with my buddy, or actually a few buddies of mine. And we all are at the fire department, and he rolls up, one of my lifelong friends rolls up with, what was it, a Gixxer 600 or Gixxer 650. And that's when it all came back to me that how badly I've wanted a motorcycle for so long. So I rode his 650, and man, that thing was fast. But I didn't even really like it that much. I didn't like how it was kind of awkward to sit on. Now, I'm not saying I don't like, because I've ridden a few sport bikes since then, and I do like super sports. So I'm not saying I don't like super sports, but I didn't want my first bike to be a super sport. I decided right then and there. So now it's time to find me a bike. I have a good job, and I really want one now. So I think it was that day or the day after riding that Gixxer, I was telling my lieutenant that how much I wanted a bike, and I'm kind of want to look at a small cruiser. I don't really want a super sport for my first one. And he tells me you need to go look. This thing just came out, and this is 2013. This bike just came out called the Yamaha Bolt, and I was all like, okay, I might check it out, but I'm interested in this Iron 883. I'm getting online, and I'm not even thinking about the Bolt, because the Bolt is like the furthest thing from my mind right now. This lieutenant just told me about it, and I'm on the computer right at the station, and I'm looking. I'm about to get on Harley's website actually to look at the iron. So I'm getting on there, and I decided, you know what, I want to get on Yamaha's page real quick because I want to look at this R6. I really want to kind of look at the R6s just to see, you know, what do they range? What is the R6 price range like? And I'm scrolling through, and that's when I see it. I see the Yamaha Bolt, and I see like it's like the main page thing. You know how they do with their new bikes. It's like the main page. And sorry, this thing's bugging me. It's flapping in the wind. So it's like the main thing, and I saw it just like this on the main page. This gray color, not the shiny gray, this gray color R-Spec, of course. Their R-Specs only come in gray and green, and I was instantly hooked. I was like, that is the coolest effing bike I've ever seen. And I haven't even looked at the 883 yet. So I even posted on my Instagram that, like that day or the day after, that this is gonna be my bike. I am going to get this bike. So that was back in 2013. So for the next 2 years, I started saving. And the whole time, everyone's telling me, every time I look at a review for this bike, they say, check out the iron. So I go ahead and do my research on the iron. And I liked the iron. I really did. When I first saw it, I really liked the iron. But I'll tell you what deterred me from it. This is my final decision, what happened, why I didn't end up with the bike. And this is probably the only reason. I didn't end up with a Harley Davidson because this is going to be my first bike. Everyone tells me, don't buy expensive bikes for your first bike. I might come back on this road, by the way. So it's between two bikes now. It's 2015. I have cash in hand. I'm ready to do this thing. And I'll tell you why I didn't choose the Harley. I didn't choose the Harley because of the price tag. This thing has more power and it's cheaper. I don't know what the prices are off the top of my head, but at that time I do remember it being $3 grand more expensive to get the Harley 883 than this bike. So I'm really asking myself at this time, why am I getting, what will I get for the $3 grand? What am I getting extra for the $3 grand? Nothing is the answer to that. Yeah, sure, you can say fit and finish. You can say reliability if you want. I mean, that's an ongoing argument that will last till the sun goes down. Because Japanese bikes have always proved themselves, and Harleys are off and on really reliable. So, I mean, you can get any bike, and it's all about how you treat it on how long it's going to last you. That's my belief. How you treat an object is how long it's going to last you. bottom line. So, I went into that dealership in 2015, February 2015, and they had this Yamaha Bolt exactly like I wanted it, right there, ready to go. And I couldn't believe it. I thought I was gonna have to really search for a gray one, but they had a gray one and they had a black one. And everyone told me to get green, by the way, but I'm not a fan of green. I like dark green, like army green is pretty sick. But I've heard bad luck. I heard it's bad luck to have a green bike. It's the superstition. But that's not the reason why. I just really like the gray. So, here we are. Bottomless Lakes. State Park. Ooh, ah. But the bottom line is, $3,000 is a lot of money. I do believe they had them priced there for $11,000. And I talked to my guy. They had this one priced at $8,300, but it's a 2014, and it was 2015 when I was buying it. So I talked the dealer down $1,000. So I ended up getting it for like $7,500. And yeah, because it was a late model bike and it was a different year. So they're ready to roll in the 2015s, and I didn't mind because I don't think the 2015s came in gray. At least I didn't see any. So yeah, 11,000 or 7,000, and less power or more power. Yeah, I really thought they would have been swapped. Like this one would have been 11 and the 883 would have been, but I guess 883 is what it is. It is. If there was no such thing as an 883, there would be no such thing as the Yamaha Bolt. I have my likes and my dislikes on these bikes. 3 likes, 3 dislikes for each bike. And we're almost to the lakes. Alright, so I will start with the likes of this bike. Styling is my first like. I feel like the Yamaha did a great job on styling this bike. If it would have been any more different, I feel like it would have lost sales. If it would have been like too different from the Iron 883. I don't know why I'm going so slow. I love these curves. So if they'd have made it too different, any more different than it is, then people wouldn't have liked it because it's not a bobber. Well, it would have been a bobber. If they would have made it any more different, I feel like they would have lost sales. And if they made it any more the same, it would be the exact fucking bike of the 883. So they did a really good job of putting a modern twist on an old style bike. So that's why I picked style as my first like. My second like about this bike is probably, let's see, if I only get 3, probably the power. I mean, it's got some power. See, that's not bad for a cruiser, for a small cruiser. I really enjoy the power on this thing. It's not too jumpy, it's torquey, but yeah, powerful on all 4 gears, or all 5 gears. That'd be nice if it had a 6th gear, really. Third like about this bike is the capability. So what I mean by capability is this bike, you can strip it down and it could be a rat rod. Big 2 wheels and an engine. But you could also put saddlebags on it, a windshield, and it's a pretty good cross-country bike. It really is. Like, you can do so many things with this bike. You can make it super powerful, or you can just leave it slack, and it's a perfect in-town, get-around bike. So there's my 3 likes. Power, style, and capabilities, what you can do with it. 3 dislikes about the Yamaha Bolts. Number 1 is the seat. I like the seat, but I feel like they could have went a little bit bigger with the seat. I don't think it would have hurt anybody. It wouldn't hurt the style, and it would have been just, I mean, a little bit bigger. I'm talking about just like that much overall. So that much on this side and that much on this side. Just like overall, just a little bit bigger. Because after about 6 hours, your ass starts to hurt. Oh yeah, we're here, by the way. I'll go up on top of that cliff right now, or in a second. I'm gonna go up on there on top of the cliff, and I'll look down at the lake. This is the lake though, and it's not really a lake. If you're from anywhere else but Roswell, you'll know what a lake is, and this ain't a lake. First, I'm gonna stop, grab a drink of water. All right, that's better. My second dislike is gravel. Gotta be careful. My second dislike is this readout. It's not really the readout, and people complain about the glare all the time. I never have issue with it. I can always see it. Maybe I have superhuman eyes or something, and I'm just crazy like that, but I can see that just fine. It says 37 miles an hour. I don't know why people have problems with it. I guess if the sun was in a certain position, it could be glaring to your eyes. You know what you do when that happens? You just go like that. Oh no, the glare has changed completely. All you gotta do is move to the side, because glares move. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy though. So it's not actually the readout. It doesn't have an RPM. That's the actual complaint that I have. Why can't... Sorry, it's been a long winter. I'm not very good at taking corners yet. I'll get there. You'll see me improve over the summer. I'll be scraping pegs here in a few weeks, I'm sure. It's still February. That's kind of a nice look, even though the GoPro probably doesn't do it justice. Anyways, so it's the RPM. I don't know how hard it would have been if they would just thrown a RPM. I mean, would it really have cost that much money so I could have a selection, I could see the RPMs? Like, that's my second dislike. Like, could there not have been an RPM gauge? I know you can buy an RPM gauge, and I probably will end up buying an RPM gauge. All right, so now I'm on top of that cliff that I just was talking about. Show you guys the overview of the lake. There it is. The lake. So here's Bottomless Lakes. This is actually Lee Lake of the Bottomless Lakes. My last dislike about this bike, and it's the biggest one, is these damn tires. They're the worst. Whoa, whoa, girl, whoa. I'm sorry. She heard me. Okay. So, I'll show you. Actually, you know what? Let me, actually, it's gonna clip to me riding here in a second. I'll show you. Alright, let me show you why I dislike these tires so much. This bike has 9,000 miles, 9,600 miles on it, and look at that. They do it in, maybe I can try to do it better here. 9,600 miles. Look at that. And before you say it's something else, I've already researched. It's definitely the front tires. All the forums say that front tire does that. After a few, they say 8 to 10,000 miles, and it's at 9,600. So these tires suck. And I'll tell you another thing about these tires, why they suck so bad. The back tire. The back tire was good until about 4,000 miles, and then I started slipping. Like, I'd start off at a light and it would start slipping. So if you do buy a Yamaha Bolt, prepare yourself to buy tires between 6 to 10,000 miles. It really isn't bad until 9, because this whole vibration thing didn't start until this year at 9,000. I'm actually gonna go to another lake that isn't part of Bottomless Lakes. And it's not a lake either. We just call them lakes around here. There's another lake of the Bottomless Lakes. Those are my 3 dislikes about the Yamaha Bolt. The seat needs to be a little bit bigger. The RPM gauge wouldn't be a big deal if they would just put an RPM gauge. And the tires. Prepare yourself to buy new tires. Alright, on to the Iron 883. And I'm gonna flip-flop it. I did the likes first and then I did the dislikes on this bike. So now I'm gonna do the dislikes first on the Iron and then I'm gonna do the likes. So the likes of the Iron will be the last. So my 3 dislikes about the Iron. My first dislike was the vibration. The vibration on this bike is kind of nice. Like it just, I don't feel it when I don't want to feel it. Like I can do this. And yeah, I don't feel it no more. Like the pegs are the most vibration is right in the middle of your foot. And then maybe a little bit on the handlebars, but I'm going to weight the handlebars down. But it's nothing compared to the Iron. The Iron, holy hell. That vibration is ridiculous. It just, I mean, at a stoplight. The whole engine vibrates back and forth, which, I mean, is kind of cool, but at the same time, it can get annoying. So vibration is my first dislike. This was actually a really hard thing to make. I don't complain, like just constantly complain about these bikes. This whole list that I'm telling you guys, it was hard to come up with this list. Because it was hard to come up with, the dislikes were the hardest thing to come up with on both these bikes. Because they're really good bikes. I don't think you can go wrong buying either one. Okay, my second dislike about the Iron, this is going to be kind of repetitive, or not repetitive, I don't know the word, but it's going to be kind of asinine. But it's the narrowness of the bike. You like are like this. Like when you're trying to hold on to that bike, it's tiny. Like it's very narrow. It's like you're sitting on a railroad tie. You're trying to ride a railroad tie. That's kind of hard to say. Ride a railroad tie. It's pretty narrow, and I didn't like that about it because I kind of hang on with my legs when I go fast. I kind of do this. I pinch, and I hang on. And while we're talking about that, the Bolt, it's a kind of a wide bike when you first sit on it. You're like, wow, this thing's really wide, especially for the stock air filter. The stock air filter needs to go. I should put that on my dislikes. But if you're any bigger than 5'10", 5'11", your knee's gonna hit it. It never really bothered me that much because I guess it was my first bike, and I don't know, some things don't bother you on your first bike. But I'm sure it would have annoyed me if I was used to not having it there. The narrowness is the second dislike. And that's just a personal, all of these are personal opinions, but that was really just me being like, it's tiny, and it really, like you hit a bump and that narrowness kind of feels like it comes into play because it kind of jerks you around when you hit a bump. You really got to hold on. When this thing, if you notice, the tire's bad and I'm just holding on with one hand, it's still easy to control, even with a bad front tire. And the third and final thing I don't like about the Iron is the cost. I know you probably saw that coming, but the price is just ridiculous. Why buy some? I mean, I'm sure they've gone down by now, but I haven't looked. I don't give a shit. I already have a bike. But why buy a bike for $11,000? And maybe that's just my dealer. Maybe, I mean, my dealer's playing a monopoly on us. But why buy a bike for $11,000 when you can get this one for $8,000, $7,000 in some cases? I didn't get that. And even if it wasn't 11, let's say it is 9. I know it's not below 9. Why pay more for an Iron? I don't know. It was really hard to come up with it, so I hope you enjoyed it. Now, the likes, the easy ones. The 3 likes I like about the Iron. The first like I like about the Iron is the digital readout. Now I said I don't dislike this one, because I don't. I mean, I don't dislike it. I like this readout, but I also like the irons readout. I really like that it's kind of up and it's kind of in your face at all times, and it has an RPM gauge. So, haha, I like that. At least the one I rode does. I don't know if there's an option without it. The second thing I like about the iron is the fit and finish. I know that I think I said in my story something about the fit and finish being not that big of a deal, but it is something to like about it. Like, the biggest fit and finish problem with this thing everyone talks about is this space between. I don't know if you can see that. Is that space right there? Is it, I don't know. You see that little space? That's what people talk about, but it's not even that I dislike about this fit and finish. The thing I don't like about this fit and finish is the zip tie. Honestly, it's like, what the fuck? What? If you had to put a zip tie there, why? I mean, I don't know. Like, I feel like you could do something else there with that zip tie, but I guess they had to. Yeah, the whole fit and finish of the bike, they really do look good. They all come together perfectly, and everything functions like it's supposed to. And it's a good little bike. The iron, that is. And the third thing, and the final thing I like about the iron is the originality, originality. It's the original. How's that sound? It's the original bike. Holy shit! Holy shit! Curve. Sorry. Woo. So the original, at the end of the day, isn't important to me. Some people might. I mean, it might be really important to them, but this Bolt is not the original of its kind, and nor it never will be, and I don't think it's claiming to be the original. It's just an option. But sorry, get off track. Give some credit to the iron. It's the original, and it fits the part. Like, I still don't feel like this has taken its place at all. I still feel as if the iron will always be the original small bobber. And at the end of the day, this is a knockoff bike. And at the end of the day, I just don't give a shit. So here's lake number 2 for the day. This one they call Lake Van. That's what they call this pond. Lake Van. Pond Van.